I got some bad news for you, Rich.
Go on, in fact, hit me, man.
I'm going to hit you because we have a saying in my family, coined by my great son-in-law, Lee Stegall. Bad news never gets better with time, so I'm going to go ahead and jam it to you. Not earth-shattering, but this is going to leave a mark. Okay?
Okay, mate. Yeah.
All right.
Do I need to should I take a minute? Just maybe.
No, you're good. You're emotionally stable enough to handle it.
Don't believe the hype, man. Don't believe the hype. That's just all good PR.
Yeah, well, it's gonna leave you questioning a few things. All right, last episode we were talking about food, right? We're talking about all this crazy stuff and all the food that we were eating in the U.S. And then you also enlightened us that you had been binge eating Cadbury eggs. If I remember the story correctly, it was eating handfuls of chocolate eggs, Cadbury eggs, going to the gym, knocking out couple of push-ups, going back and resuming shoving the Cadbury eggs into your mouth. Is that correct?
I feel like that you've emphasised some parts of the story there and de-emphasised others, but yeah, there's something in that. Yeah.
That's how you do. That's entertaining. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just you leave the little stuff down. That's entertaining. You exaggerate.
Okay,
but that's
cool.
That's
the broad strokes of it. Yes, Patrick.
Got you. You learn from me. You know what I mean? It's so we talked about all the food that was in the all the poison, all the stuff in American food, but yet you were eating Cadbury eggs, good old British Cadbury eggs, chocolate Cadbury eggs. Man, I hate to do this to you, but have you heard of a chap named Jack McLean?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, he's a British chap, and I'm just going to let you listen to this about Cadbury eggs. He's going to mention Easter. That's not totally the point, but let's give it a listen.
See, on Easter, the world-famous chocolate brand Cadbury's, it's always been seen as Easter eggs selling out in the lead-up to the holiday. However, 2026, it did recently get revealed that they are replacing the cocoa content with palm oils and removing the word Easter for most of the products. So, they don't offend the other cultures in this country and the growing population of different religions in this country. They are also getting rid of the word Easter. Like, they have even reduced them and no one's buying them, which is amazing to see because this isn't chocolate anymore. This is like 100% pure chemicals. Even the chocolate is not chocolate. In fact, many of the chemicals they are using are so harmful to the human body that they are outlawed in other countries. Listen to this.
Across the UK have slashed Cadbury Easter egg prices by nearly 50% after consumers revolted. Cadbury removed the word Easter from their packaging entirely, and people noticed.
They noticed.
You get the point.
Yeah, and you know why? You know why Cadbury's changed their famous glass and a half of milk recipe? You know when all of this started?
When?
You want to look up some facts? I'll look up some facts for you, Patrick.
Well, you're the fact guy.
You just sit right there, my friend.
I've got nowhere to go.
Well, here we go. Cadbury's. Who owns Cadbury's? No.
An American company. An American company bought it out and started putting the poison in.
Exactly, man. Do you know what I mean? So this all roads lead home, Pat. Do you know what I mean? It all leads back to you, man. It all leads back.
Yeah, I know where it comes.
Yeah, no, I heard this actually, and there is some people are like, it doesn't taste the same like it used to, all that stuff. But yeah, man, sad times, isn't it? We live in a rapidly changing landscape, But yeah.
You thought you were clean over there eating your Cadbury eggs. Matter of fact, there was another company in America. I don't know if it was Mars or Hershey's that actually went back to putting cocoa back in it. Because I remember there was a candy bar that I used to eat. Boy, I'd jump on that thing like white on rice, and boy, you were sad when it was gone. Last time I ate one, it didn't taste the same because they'd started taking the cocoa out. They actually went back to putting the good stuff back in. But now Cadbury, I mean, how British can you get in Cadbury? And an American company has bought it out, taken the cocoa out, and now we are systematically poisoning.
Eroding. Yeah. Spreading.
So,
Spreading through the world like cancer. Yeah.
so well,
it's a bit strong, maybe. Sorry. You can take that out if you need.
You got to take the shot. You see, you just don't have to do that. You see, when you take the shots at America, not one, it hurts my feelings. You know what I mean? And it alienates our audience. It is an American company, but we're also in the process of trying to reverse the trend of doing a lot of that, which is what surprised me in the fact that they bought Cadbury eggs and changed the Cadbury eggs. But you ate them, right? You ate a bunch of them?
Yeah, I had some. What did I have? I had a Cadbury's egg. I had an egg, a couple of eggs from a chain over here we have called Waitrose, which is quite like a kind of high-end kind of supermarket, grocery chain. So I had a couple of them, and I had a Tony's Chocolonely egg that my wife bought me, which is kind of like a bit like funky, kind of cool designer chocolate. So a whole range, really, Patrick. You know what I mean? I don't mess about.
I'm looking out for your help, and I just wanted you to know. An American company has bought Cadbury and took Easter out, by the way. We got to go ahead and take Easter. Yeah. I didn't even know that until I heard this guy talking. I never really noticed that they took Easter out. But I guess changing a lot of foods. We were also talking about Walmart and Great Value. Have you shopped at the Walmart, by the way, in London?
Yeah, man. Oh no, I've shopped at Walmart in Hattiesburg, as you know. Right. But which was a kind of interesting experience. You walk in, it looks a bit like, so in our supermarkets, right, you walk in and it's quite like, what's the word? What would the word be? Nice. Yeah, like it's in like, there's like nice flooring and delicate lighting, and the displays are organised quite like, nicely, aesthetically pleasing. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a design element at work. Whereas, I don't know if it's just Walmart in Hattiesburg, but you walk in, it kind of looks like a disaster relief centre or a warehouse or something like that. It is a very different experience.
That's actually Walmart. Now, see, it's like you have different stores. You'll have a store like in Hattiesburg. You've got like a corner market, or in little smaller surrounding towns, or Ramey. So you'll go into that grocery store. And like when I lived in New Jersey, there was one called ShopRite. It was set up that way. But Walmart is set up to save money. Surprisingly, in England, you said the prices weren't that much lower, but the whole point of Walmart is to save money. So they go in and build this big, huge metal building, put cinder blocks in, and boom, they've got this hundreds of millions of dollars of sales going right there. They don't spend a bunch of money on it. But if you go down the street to the other store, you'll find that experience, but you will pay more money. But I've always been a fan of Walmart because when Walmart came in, it did exponentially drop the prices. And also something I noticed, we talked about the bread that did not mold, right?
Yeah.
I'd had it for a couple of weeks, no mold, still hasn't molded. I just still got it sitting there. I'm not taking
you're lying.
I'm not kidding you. The mold, it's just still sitting there. But then last week, my wife cooked some baked spaghetti, which had mozzarella cheese. We got Great Value. And Walmart's brand is Great Value, which I'm a big fan of because they go out and they hack the top food chains or products, and they get the ingredients and they make virtually the same product that tastes just as good, but it's at half the price. But that was the Great Value bread that hasn't molded. And then she made some baked spaghetti, really good baked spaghetti, by the way. When you come to the States, you'll have to have some. But we started biting into it, and we noticed the cheese didn't seem like it had melted. I didn't really say, you don't say anything when your wife cooks something that doesn't taste quite right. Don't say anything about it then. It's just when she cooks it the next time, you say something like, hey, maybe you could cook it a little while longer, because that's what I thought. But she noticed it too, that the cheese was a little bit rubbery. And so last night we had some burrito or Mexican casserole or whatever with a different great value cheese. Same thing. I bit into it, the whole piece of cheese comes out of my mouth. And so we immediately Google, and then the internet's full of, what did Walmart do with their cheese? Their cheese no longer melts.
Whoa. So what have they changed one of the main ingredients or something?
They must have, they had to have. They said something in there that they changed some kind of ingredient where the cheese now is not the creamy, melty cheese. I don't know what it is, but they've changed the ingredients. The bread doesn't mold, cheese doesn't melt. So, and Cadbury eggs are full of chemicals, which brings us to our next subject. Since we are talking about the UK and chocolate, it only seems to reason that we're going to talk about Willy Wonka in the UK.
Yes, here we go, man. Willy Wonka.
You know where I'm going with this. Oh, and there's a line in here that I'm just going to love to drop on you. You see what I did there? You see how I segued in the comedy world? It's what we call a segue. You might call it segue.
No,
but it's a
segue.
It's a segue.
Yeah.
In my comedy act, I'm brilliant at it. It just seems like I'm telling one long line. That's how you line up the next thing you're coming to. So we've now segued, and I guess you know where I'm going. So it was called the Willy's Chocolate Experience in Glasgow, Scotland. And I guess this was maybe last year, but let's read this. So Willy Wonka, the children's character that all children love, they set up an experience called the Willy's Chocolate Experience in Glasgow, Scotland. Was a disastrous, viral, and unlicensed event where organizers used AI to create misleading marketing, promising an immersive candy land. Instead, families found a near-empty warehouse, few props, a single sad Oompa-Loompa, and minimal treats. A sad Oompa-Loompa. These kids are.
I could just picture him. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The kids all walk in all set.
It's chained to a radiator in the corner.
And you've got some crackhead looking Oompa-Loompa. Sitting over there.
He's snarling at the kids as they walk past.
Just go. It kind of mentions this. It gets better. It says, in minimal treats, leading to angry parents and police intervention. Key facts of the event, the reality. The venue was a dimly lit, sparsely decorated warehouse described as having a meth lab aesthetic.
Nice.
So of all the meth jokes that I get hit with by you, it turns out in the UK you have a children's experience with a sad Oompa-Loompa in a meth lab.
In a meth lab, yeah. The Oompa-Loompa's begging for crack money.
Right. And then misleading marketing. The event used AI-generated imagery to promote an immersive experience that was completely false. The experience, children were given one or two jelly beans and a quarter cup of supermarket lemonade. Instead of a sad quarter cup of pre-mixed lemonade and two jelly beans.
Do you reckon the Oompa-Loompa dished out the jelly beans?
Okay. And that's it. And there's a picture of the table with the jelly beans in these little quarter cups of lemonade. I wish our listeners could see it. But it gets better. The unknown, a mysterious non-Wonka character described as an evil chocolate maker, scared the children.
This isn't real, man. Where did you find this?
Bro, it's literally, this happened in Glasgow. This is a real story. I mean, I see you Googling. Parents paid £35 per
Brilliant.
ticket, leading to crowds demanding refunds. The actor playing Wonka also reported feeling misled. The result, the House of Illuminati, boy, that should have tipped you off right there. I mean, you're the House of Illuminati? I mean, aren't these the people supposed to be ruining the world, the evil people that are supposed to be behind all the billionaires, the Rothschilds or whatever they set up in a meth lab? The House of Illuminati canceled the event midway, apologized, and promised refunds. The incident went viral for being a spectacular failure. The actor playing the Wonka character said she was given a 12-page AI-generated script the night before it was told to improvise.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant.
Yeah. And it's even, this is BBC, Willy Wonka Experience. How did the viral sensation go so wrong? It was billed as the place where chocolate dreams become reality. Featured vivid images of sweetie-themed fantasy worlds inspired by the Ronald Dahl character and the recent Wonka movie. It boasted an enchanted garden, a twilight tunnel, and an imagination lab. It was an imagination lab, all right. Imagination for meth. Hundreds of parents persuaded to pay up £35 a ticket for an event which promised surprises at every turn. And the author says, well, that bit was at least true.
Amazing. I'm reading about it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. But visitors who hoped to relive the classic book and media, including the 1971, were left bitterly disappointed. That's crazy. And you see it it was little more than an abandoned warehouse. A handful of embarrassed actors tried to make the best of some sad-looking prompts and a bouncy castle. They had a little bounce house castle. The promised chocolate fountains and chocolatey delights were conspicuously absent, and children were offered the jelly beans and the half cup. As tempers rose, police were called.
Amazing. Amazing. I've got a picture of the Oompa Loompa.
You know, you really? Yeah. And it was, oh goodness. Oh, that is sad. That is she looks absolutely heartbroken. She probably thought she was going to get, because, when I was in New York and I took acting parts, you always think this is going to be your big breakthrough. She's probably told all of her family. They probably came. It's like, I'm playing Willy Wonka. This is my thing. You know what I mean? I might can get some SAG-AFTRA credits doing this. She was going to get 500 pounds. And did you look at the picture of that child? I wish our listeners could see it. She looks absolutely heartbroken, and it was done by a guy named Billy Coull, Coull, and I mean, this guy looks like a soccer hooligan that came right off of Central Casting. And let's see, footage circulating on social media showed a man identified as Mr. Coull by actors involved in the event. He was flanked by security staff as he tried to placate angry parents outside of the venue.
God, listen to this. This is in the Daily Mail. I mean, it's sad, but there is definitely humour. Parents were left furious when they turned up at an immersive Willy Wonka event. and their children were left sobbing when it turned out to be a small bouncy castle and a small lollipop. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's bad, man. That is bad. What do you think happened to the Oompa Loompa?
She got paid. She looks completely devastated.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a kick in the teeth, wouldn't it? I mean, there's a picture of yeah, it's just a big warehouse, really. Maybe we should do one, Pat. You know what I mean? We could do one called Meth World, but when you turn up, it's it's actually looks more like a Willy Wonka experience.
Yeah, yeah, I think that. Yeah, I bet you that would work. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I
What
don't
do
know.
you think?
Ethically, man, I don't think Jesus is going to be on board with that. But
I'm thinking.
yeah, I loved those stories when I was a kid. And did you have Roald Dahl over there? Like
Have what?
Roald Dahl. So
Roll.
he's Roald Dahl. So he's the author. He wrote like a series. He wrote like a whole series of children's books. Willy Wonka was amongst them. You know, wrote Willy Wonka, The Big Friendly Giant, The Twix, The Witches, George's
Well, I
Life.
mean, we remember Willy Wonka. Wonka was a huge thing when I was young.
Are you
And then,
talking about the book or the film?
well, both. Well, when I was young, it was the book, and I think there might have been some kind of a movie, and then they remade the movie.
Yeah, they remade the movie later. They've done it a couple of times, haven't they? But
Yeah, with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, the Johnny Depp one's psychedelic, man. Do you know what I mean? That one's like, that's all very strange. But the original one, who was the guy in the original one? You know, like, he was like a really famous actor at the time, old school. You should know this, Pat.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wildman, yeah.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah. He was going, what, like, Willy Wonka was like quite a troubled character, really, wasn't he? You know, you think about it, like, he was like a recluse, you know, it was like very obsessive. Like, you know, no one had seen him for years, you know, withdrawn from public life. You know, he was like quite like, when you really like, you know, and then these children all make their way into the factory, you know, he creates like this kind of mystical allure. Like, if you can get a golden ticket, you can come into the factory. But then each of the children, like, a terrible fate befalls them, except Charlie, you know, like it's like actually, it's kind of pretty like sinister stuff, really, when you strip away all the Oompa Loompas and the songs and all the rest of it. Like,
Then these parents should have known what was coming. I
well,
mean,
maybe.
it it actually seems like then it was all set up for that's the experience. Like you going over to some child predator's house. I mean, a dude that has been locked away. People haven't seen him for years, and what is he doing? He's promising candy. He's got everything but a white van and a ski mask and duct tape. You know what I mean? With candy written on the side, and a Sharpie. Uh, I mean, they should have maybe kind of seen that coming.
Yeah. And you think, I wonder if it'd get made now, man. You think about it. The first kid to, I'm just remembering now, the first kid to go is Augustus Gloop. You know, and Augustus Gloop is that, like, unable to control his, like, compulsive overeating, yeah, that he rushes to the chocolate lake and drinks out of it. You know, he can't help himself, and then he falls in and gets sucked into the machinery, you know, as a consequence of his inability to control his base desires, you know. That's pretty heavy duty. They wouldn't make that now.
We're wondering why kids are growing up messed up.
Yeah, well,
This was one of our heroes. I guess I never saw the movie. Actually, since you mentioned it, Gene Wilder said, I read an article on him not long ago, that to prepare for the thing, he didn't do it the way that like they wanted to do it. He kind of went away from everybody, and he didn't talk to everybody, and he kind of got into character that way. So it must have been a strange character.
Yeah, it was. It was a strange. He was a weird guy, man. Definitely. A lot of Roald Dahl stuff was like that. Was like when you look at it, it's actually quite sinister. Yeah, but yeah, it's you know, it's a big part of my childhood. Those books. Like I read loads of those, but I'm gonna have to sneeze, Pat. Sorry.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I love those books. I read them over and over. I always had my head in a book when I was a kid. You know, always.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I read some of those books like probably like 25 times. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I had the attention span of a gerbil. I think I read The Hobbit by Tolkien was the only book I really read from cover to cover. And
that's
then
a serious book, though.
The Hobbit.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like, it's a proper, it's not, it's not a kid's book per se, is it? He was quite a serious writer in his way, Like Lord of the Rings is like, it's huge, isn't it? Like, that's
Yeah,
like
well, it
what
became
book to
huge,
get
but
through.
I read it. Go ahead.
It's a big book, Patrick. Like, it's a big, like,
Yeah. Well, what are you saying? I'm not. You're saying my 10th grade education didn't make me capable of reading a big book without pictures.
I'm just saying that, yeah, maybe I assumed something along those lines.
It's when I wanted to apply myself, but it was the fantasy, I guess, of the Hobbit. I started reading it. I read it, and then I read all 3 of the books. And this was long before the Hobbit and the trilogy was cool. And we were also playing Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you played that game or heard of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah, no, we had that. So I wasn't quite that. Look, I was not a cool kid by any stretch of the imagination, but I wasn't quite that uncool to play Dungeons and Dragons. There's a certain type of kid that played that over here, and I wasn't one of them. I
Oh,
didn't.
you're saying the Dungeons and Dragons was kind of a nerdy thing?
Yeah, extremely nerdy. Extremely nerdy. Yeah,
Do I appear that I was a nerdy child when I'm selling drugs and stealing cars at 13?
Well,
Nerds weren't doing that,
Well, that's what I'm
Richard.
saying. Maybe it's like maybe it's a different, like, maybe it was different over there. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe in your open air drug markets that you seem to have a lot over there, like maybe on the corners, but instead of like rolling dice against the walls, the guys slinging the crack and the meth, they've got like 24-sided dice and they're actually playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's it. Well, to be fair, we did it when we were in high school, and we were not. I don't know how the best to say this, but we were not sober when we were doing it. In other words, we had done we were in a position had done something to expand our imagination when we started playing the Dungeons and Dragons.
Come on, don't pussyfoot around, Pat. Give me the juicy details. What is you taking?
Well, yeah, we we would go out in the fields, the cow fields in Mississippi, and these mushrooms would grow. All right, first off, disclaimer, Richard and I are both redeemed by the blood of Jesus, and we don't do this anymore. Not promoting this by any stretch of the imagination. We're just recounting history. So in the fields in the cow fields would be a mushroom, and you would go out on Saturday morning and you would pick the mushrooms and you'd pinch the bottom. And I'm not going to tell you in case there's anybody out there that has it, but if it turned a certain color, you took it back and you boiled it, and then you put Kool-Aid in it.
Yeah.
And then you drank it.
Yeah.
And then you literally could sit on the pier by a lake and watch Moby Dick coming in and out of the water over and over. So maybe that was what our Dungeons and Dragons would have a little bit of a.
Yeah, now that I could have got on board with. Yeah, we had mushrooms. I mean, mushrooms are a big thing over here now. But like I did lots of mushrooms when I was a kid. I had good times with mushrooms. I can't lie. Of all the, my drug use got really problematic and dark and seedy and awful in many ways. But I mean, doing mushrooms with my friends and all that stuff, that was I had some good times doing that stuff.
We don't really want to glamorize the mushrooms, but I can look back and laugh on the it was a little bit dangerous because you didn't know what you were out there picking. But I do remember spending 12 hours staring at a Billy Joel album, watching his pace move.
I remember there was a night when we were all doing mushrooms, right? And like someone came with a big, like a kind of grocery store size bag full of mushrooms, right? And so we were brewing them up, much in the way that you described. But so instead of using Kool-Aid, we'd put sugar in, right? Because for the reason.
Well, that's what we did. It was just sugar. You just you put a bunch of sugar and you just put some store-bought Kool-Aid, if you remember that from when you were young.
And it took the edge off of the dreadful flavour, right? So it made it drinkable, yeah. So, but then we ran out of sugar, right? And there's like 1 cup each left in the pot, yeah, and it's been stewing like all night. So it's like basically like the consistency of like tar, yeah. And it's like it's got to be done, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I remember I took this shot of this mushroom stuff, and it hit my stomach, right? And I have never been so sick in my entire life, right? Like never been so sick. So now I'm feeling really, really ill, like. You know, like you say, like you know, and to the listeners, like yeah, of course, like it's dangerous. You know, like what we're talking about is illegal and comes with a lot of dangers attached to it, right? So like this, I've basically at this stage I've like poisoned myself. Do you know what I mean? My stomach's going into cramps, yeah, and like I'm not feeling too good at all. Anyway, I managed to extract myself from the bathroom, come back into the front room in the flat, the apartment I'm in, and all of the lads that I'm using these mushrooms with, have decided that what they're going to do in the middle of this trip is sit down and watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I got about 10 minutes in, right, and like Pat, like I did a lot of very foolish things, right, but like in my life, and have done, walked into experiences that I knew weren't going to be good for me and done it anyway, time and time and time again. But in this instance, I knew that sitting there in the grip of like this, multi-hour, multi-layered mushroom trip, like watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was not a good move for me. So I left, but then I'm walking, I'm trying to get home, and I'm walking, but I'm so sick, and all I want is some water. I remember like walking past this puddle. Right, it started raining, and I'm walking past this puddle and looking at it, and really like having to wait up. It's like, am I going to get down on my hands and knees and drink water out of that puddle? Because I'm so sick. I need to hydrate. Do you know what I mean? I looked at it, I weighed up anyway. Didn't drink water out of the puddle, but man, I was ill for days, like 3 days. I poisoned myself for. Yeah.
So for the kids out there, let this be a lesson to you.
Yeah, don't do the mushrooms.
We remember it just like we do a lot of things from the childhood. You remember some of the things fondly, but it was bad and it was dangerous. I do remember once watching the Super Bowl, the National Football League Super Bowl. We're all sitting at my house right outside of town, back 19, and we have indulged in the mushrooms, and we're right at the peak. And that was one of the problems with the mushrooms was it's not a dose. You just look in there. You don't know how much do you drink. Do you drink 4 ounces, 6 ounces? You've always got, Carl the Courageous. Look at that. I'm going to drink, and then this guy's mind never came back. You know what I mean? And so you don't know until you take it. In fact, you don't know if you took too much. You don't know if you took a little or whatever. But we had taken a little too much. We're just sitting and watching the football game. And my friend Gary, my roommate, went. We didn't notice him leaving. And do you remember there was a movie with Patrick Swayze where they all were wearing these, maybe the dead presidents. They wore these masks like Ronald Reagan, and they would rob.
Point Break.
Yeah. Yeah, they would wear these masks, these kind of scary looking president's masks to rob the banks. And so we're all sitting there in this fragile state. And Gary jumped into the room with a double-barreled shotgun and a Ronald Reagan mask and pointed the gun into the room at everybody and started screaming and just, and I mean, you would have thought we were going out of windows. We were running out in the street. I was wearing just a pair of pants with no shirt. I got a quarter mile down the road from my house before I realized what had happened. One of the scariest things that I had ever experienced.
Yeah, that's a fright, man. That's a fright. Definitely. I mean, like when I was at school, there was like rumours of a kid in the other, the school down the road that had like taken too much acid and mushrooms and thought he was an orange and spent his life in the psychiatric hospital and all that kind of stuff.
In all seriousness, I do know a guy, very smart guy, all the way through school, went to a top university, freshman year, and did some LSD and it never came back from it, never changed. Fortunately, you and I managed to end up normal, in quotation marks, from our times walking in the cow fields. Is that where y'all got them? Y'all went out in the cow fields?
Ooh, so there's a big story behind that. But essentially, like there was a guy that we knew that would just let's just say like this. He would turn up periodically, but he would like I don't know exactly where they were coming from, but he would have like what seemed like a limitless supply of mushrooms. Like it'd come with like a huge like a bin
Well, it
bag.
was a farm, so it's the same. I guess it grows the same way that it did in America. It was a
Yeah,
farm. It went out.
he used to come with like like gallons of them, and then we would take it from there. Really, that was the big mushroom phase that I went through. Was when we had access to this guy. Yeah,
You get out in the morning and you would just go walk through, and you would plan. That's what you were going to do. Well, we didn't see.
we were much more like retail consumers, whereas obviously out there in the wilds of like
It's not happening. No,
yeah, it's just
you
real
grow up in
simple,
Oxford. Yeah, that's what you do.
simple farm folk.
Yep. Academic capital of the world. You're refined. You're sitting around. You're waiting for the guy to bring the mushrooms. Me and my buddies are up early in the morning, humping the cow fields, stepping past cow manures, picking them themselves. I think that is a pretty good juxtaposition of the two of us right there.
Yeah.
We had to go. We had to go do it ourselves. Upper crust Brits. They're going to bring it over here.
Yeah.
But
Well, we had a guy. He would come and he would have white gloves, like a black suit, and then he would have like a silver plate with like a dome, a silver dome cover on it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he'd lift it up, and they would be there prepared in a little garlic,
very
a little
clinical.
garlic butter. Yeah.
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 We're pulling them right out of the cow patties and going back, washing them in the mobile home, and then going off into Never Land.
In the double
Well,
wide, yeah.
Well, boy,
Patrick,
did ours just go ahead.
What is a double wide trailer?
It's a trailer that's double wide. Okay, imagine a trailer.
Yeah.
And it's twice the size.
Okay,
Double wide.
So it's a big trailer.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Double wide trailer.
So it's gonna be big. You have your regular trailer. You've seen them, right? You don't have trailers in mobile homes?
Yeah, sort of. Not like you do. It's not, it's a much more of a kind of minority pastime over here, whereas obviously in America it's quite like a way of life. But yeah, we call them like static homes. But yeah, this different setup over here.
You can have a trailer park. Actually, you could set up a nice crib in a trailer. The double wide is a pretty nice. You can have a 3-bedroom. It's a big living room, big kitchen. They outfit them very nicely now. The only thing that makes me nervous is, when the tornadoes start rolling through.
Yeah, you're done for, aren't you?
That you're not going to be in a good shape there. But you've never seen a double wide trailer?
I haven't spent that much time in American trailer parks. I've spent time in America, but like I've tended, it's not really come up on any of the kind of tours I've done or anything like that. The trailer park.
I'm making a note of it for when you and Shireen visit.
Yeah, man.
We're going to trailer park. And you know what's crazy? Where Pine Grove is, with the place where we met, used to be one of the biggest trailer parks in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Oh, what, the site of that hospital? Well, the main hospital or the main?
No, right there. No, right there where I picked you up. That whole corner, that whole area up there, and that area was a trailer park.
Mm. Well, I never, Patrick. You can add local historian to your list of accomplishments.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea the history that I have. I am a bit of a historian. I probably know more British history than you do. I'm not, well, I don't know. You went to Bath University. You probably had to take a few courses. But I know it because I would actually skip school and go read my history book. But I do like the history, and I happen to know where the trailer park was located, and it was right there.
Thank you, Patrick.
Double wide, too.
Double wide.
Think about it.
That could be a nickname for you.
Double wide.
Double wide. Yeah, I like that. What do you think?
Not feeling it.
No, okay. All right.
I don't know. I could come around though. Double wide. Here comes double wide.
Yeah. Yo, double wide. You want to
Here's
come play
old.
some? Yeah, you want to come play some Dungeons and Dragons double wide? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling it, but I'll give it some thought. Speaking of giving it some thought, before we close, last week I had a brilliant idea, and you've had a week to think about this.
Yeah,
Buddhist priest.
Buddhist Priest. Yeah, and you sent me some follow up.
Your thoughts?
They're few thoughts. So I went away and I went through a real process, Pat. I really sat with it. You know, like I wanted to know, I inspected myself, on many different levels, mental, emotional, spiritual, of course. Yeah. I really took time to see what was going on in my body, and just listen, really listen.
You thought it out. For our listeners that don't know, I propose Richard and I start a band. We're going to combine spirituality and metal. Let's take off from Judas Priest. Me and Richard, band called Buddhist Priest. What's your verdict?
Yeah, I went through all of that, and there was just a word that kept coming to me, and I think it was a prompt from the Holy Spirit, right? But that word was no.
Just okay. All right. Well, this is my last shot at it. Is it? And this is what I'm truly feeling. Is it because you're afraid that I won't share the royalties because I'm going to write all the lyrics straight out of Mandu. Don't tell us what we can't do. Down from the Himalayas, big time players. You're thinking Pat's right. You've seen this movie before. You think I'm going to come in, start the band, I'm going to write it all, and I'm going to hog all the royalties.
Yeah, you'll be like that character. Who was it? The one who robbed all the. He features in the Straight Outta Compton film. Jerry Heller. He just mistreats and misappropriates the funds of his young artists. No, it's not that. It's kind of the opposite. It's along those lines. It's like, I don't feel there'll be any royalties because I think it's such a poor idea, and it's like almost clinically deranged. And I just think, personally, I think it might be a waste of your time, and I'm very confident it will be a waste of mine. So yeah, for those reasons, among many others, it's still a no.
No Royal Albert Hall, no sitting in the same dressing room where Mick and John Paul, Ringo, and George. Not going to happen. We're not even going to have a greatest hits album. So, all right. Tell you what I'll do. I'll work on. All right. I'm an idea guy. I'll work on it. I think maybe we'll try as a country duo. I'll work on something.
Maybe go and speak to your pastor. Yeah.
Okay.
Speak to him. Take him your original ideas, any further thoughts, and I would just encourage you to live in consultation around this part. That would be, if we were working together as therapist and client, that would be like, go and do some outreach on this. Go and, talk to some other people. Like, just get some other opinions and insights from this. Just see what other people see when you show them this.
I don't know if I'm going to do that because I shared it with my wife, and I got. Sometimes you have a mind that it is so artistic that mortals, normal, can't grasp. They can't see it. And that's going to be you, and that's going to be my wife, Gwen, because I had a very similar response. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bury it, and then maybe a country duo, maybe something called like Barth Girth or something. Hey, do you know there was a country duo from Ireland called Logue and McCool? You never listened to them, did you?
No, never.
Don't even know. All right. One was blind, one was in a wheelchair. And so I don't know which one of us will do one or the other, but they were pretty successful. When the Cowboy Rides Away. Beautiful song.
And honestly, the more you talk about this idea, it makes me I feel like blinding myself. Do you know what I mean? I feel like just taking this biro and just jamming it into my eyeballs over and over again just to make it stop.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm gonna I'm gonna say that it's a little iffy at this time at Buddhist Priest. I'm gonna just put it on the back burner. So I think we're a little out of time. Boy, did this go haywire! I did not have childhood mushroom experiences, and but I guess the fact that we now find out that Willy Wonka and the things they were showing us as kids were total freaking weirdos. There was no surprise we were walking through cow pastures or you sitting there waiting for Dr. Shroom to show up. So let's wrap things up and remind everybody that the path to joy and happiness and peace in life, this life and the next, is a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And any final thoughts, Richard?
Nah, just that, man. Like that's where you find true enlightenment. I looked for it in many places, including the bottom of a big bag of mushrooms, and I didn't find it in any of those places. I found it through coming to Christ. So well said, Patrick.
We did not. Yeah, beautiful tie-in. Beautiful. We did not find it in mushrooms. We found it in Jesus. God bless everybody out there. Rich, I'll see you next week.
God bless. Bye, man.